Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's your man, Big B, Brien Hanley, along with Tim Fitzgerald. Welcome back to the Big 12 Insiders. Appreciate everybody being here. Fitz, college football playoff. We got some news. Some news that we thought was going to happen all along. It was just a matter of when. But the College Football Playoff Committee, they have made some rule changes. We're going to talk about that today. Remember, everybody, before we get started, to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in the comments, and hit the notification bell so you know exactly when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. But Fitz, look, this college football playoff, I mean, it's up and downs, left and right. It's all over the place, just like college athletics in general. But actually, in my opinion, they made some rule changes today that makes sense.
Right.
They just reseed, instead of just giving it to the four, conference champions or the highest conference champions, or including Mountain West. They just decided, or a group of five, I should say, not Mountain West, group of five. They said, nope, we're going to reseed everything as the order of the teams that we have ranked, which to me, that makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Now, how they rank the teams is something totally different. Do I trust them to rank it properly? No, because hell, I don't even trust them to get the right teams in there. But this, I think, as a whole, look, you're looking for some positive somewhere. You're looking for some good news somewhere, Fitz. This is good news because it does make sense. Whatever the rankings are, that's who gets the buys, and let's move forward from there and go that direction.
And I agree with it. I agree in principle with doing exactly what they did. I too am worried about, will they be honest in their ranking, seeding of these teams? I don't trust them. I just don't. Greg Sankey's made it very clear. He'll cheat the system if he can make a buck for his conference. And I'm just exhausted by him not having any understanding of the damage he's doing to college football. But here's my one hang up. Now, let's back up before I get to that. The hang up with going to this was originally the SEC and Big Ten wanted to keep the money the same, meaning yes, the second round teams, if you got a bye, you were going to get that second round money. So they were trying to cut the money going to the Big 12 and ACC by only giving them first round money, unless their champion made it in. But I don't think the rankings will ever allow that. I just don't. I don't trust them one bit.
Not in the top four. No way.
So it looks like they've adjusted it. Conference champions will get paid what they are supposed to get paid, no matter where they end up being seated. Good. Every conference needs to have an absolute minimum value that they're going to get from this 12-team playoff. Soon to be bigger, I think. But here's my one problem. Because of, if you look back at last year where the teams would have been seated, the three other conference champions would have been the bottom three seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a break. Did Arizona look like it was that far behind Texas? No, Texas got lucky and won that. Arizona State should have won that game. If I didn't say Arizona State should have won that game, and they would have been the 11th seed. Here's what I would liked to have had, that you're not assured a bye as a conference champion, but if you don't get a bye, you're assured a home game.
Yeah.
I think a champion, if they have to play in the first round, should be playing at home.
Yep.
There has to be something more than just money you earn from winning your conference. But yeah, I really don't think the Big Ten and SEC care. I'm a little shocked that the other two commissioners went along with this. They should have been demanding that bye, or that home game. But this will do. I just think it's unfortunate that now the Big 12 will get into it and have to play maybe the third team from the SEC on their home field, giving them a huge advantage, even though they're probably not a better football team.
Well, and not only that, Fitz, is the thing about the home game is, I know what people would say as far as the scheduling. Well, look at the bracket. Well, how could you have a number 5 seed going to play at a number 12. What difference does it make? I go, if you put the number 12 seed as one of the conference champions, which the committee will show that it'll do, well, if that's what you do, well, then they get the home game. What difference does it make where the game's at if we're rewarding conference champions? And I feel like that's something that'll get changed next year. Maybe they didn't want to stretch it and do too much change. But here's the thing, in thinking that SEC, Big Ten, big stadiums, big revenue, where would you rather have the game? And so the college football committee, they're looking at that. It's like, hey, man, we'd rather have the game at Tennessee. We'd rather have the game at Penn State. We'd rather have the game at those type of venues, at an LSU if they can make it in. We'd rather have it there than Iowa State or an Oklahoma State. That's just where, or Utah. We'd rather have it at those places because the venues are bigger.
Yep.
To me, I mean, I understand that to an extent, but again, you're only rewarding conference championships with money. Now, some people are going to say, well, money's the only thing that matters. I think it's a little more than that when you're talking about college athletics, just athletics in general. Money's important. Not saying it isn't. We'll never say that it isn't. But having the reward of being a conference champion, it should mean, and you're right. Hey, we get to play a home game. But instead, hey, you know what? You're a conference champion. Your reward, if you're a TCU, is you got to go to Penn State and play a football game in December. Good luck with that. And we saw the same thing. Remember last year at SMU. Now, granted, SMU wasn't a conference champion or anything like that, but we saw the effects of that. SMU, Dallas, Texas, wanted no part of playing in Penn State. I mean, we saw Tennessee. Tennessee wanted absolutely nothing to do with going to Ohio State and playing. You could have put them on the moon, and they would have been more comfortable playing that football game than they were at Ohio State. So all I'm saying is you got to give conference champions their due. Got to be more than money. Got to figure out a way to get that home game. But I'm kind of like you, Fitz. I don't think they're going to do it.
No, they won't. They won't. And I think Brett Yormark failed on this one. I appreciate that they were able to maintain the money, but he actually set them back because now instead of getting a bye, you're going to get your ass kicked in the first round, probably by having to go to one of those places. Now, maybe you're good enough to compete on the road at a Penn State, Ohio State, whatever it might be. But I just think being a champion should mean you get that home game. And here's what I think the SEC and Big Ten wanted to prevent. They wanted to prevent being proven wrong.
Yes.
That, let's say Iowa State wins the conference, they get Penn State in Ames and kick the crap out of them. That deflates everything they've been telling us.
Absolutely.
Everything. And inflates the Big 12. They don't want that. They can't have that.
No.
Now Brett Yormark is asking his teams in all likelihood that they won't be seated in the top 8 to go on the road and win games. The only way the Big 12 is going to overcome this now is going on the road and winning those games. And the odds of doing that as opposed to winning at home are much less.
Yeah.
Much less.
I mean, it's college football, or it's just athletics in general. Winning on the road is more difficult than winning at home.
Yep.
Especially college football with college-aged athletes where emotion is so much a part of it. Momentum swings. I mean, it just is. That's why having a home field advantage matters. It matters. If it didn't, ask Vegas doesn't matter. Vegas will tell you that it matters every single game. They're not doing it. And Vegas is all about money, 100% about money. It's the only thing they care about is money. So if they say that home field advantage means something, maybe we should listen a little bit, and maybe it does. But look, we've been talking about the negative aspect of it, and it's a real thing. But at least the positive is that they are willing to make a change, Fitz, that they're willing to do something that says, you know what, This just doesn't make sense. Let's just rank the teams and seed the teams the way that the rankings are coming out. And I agree. Now, again, we can get to the negative side of it. They're never going to rank the Big 12 team. I mean, they will have to be so much better than everybody else and be looked upon so much better than everybody else that it's not even funny. But you just look at any preseason ranking just right now. There's not a Big 12 team within the top 18. 18 is as high as I've seen out there a preseason ranking. You're telling me there's 8 or 17 more teams that are better than any Big 12 team? Come on, man. I just don't believe that. But that's what happens. When these rankings come out, everybody believes it. And lo and behold, any of those Big 12 teams that everybody believes are going to be good, if they happen not to be good, Fitz, like last year, Oklahoma State and Utah, and we get somebody else up there, they won't break top 20. I mean, hell, BYU was undefeated for, 9 weeks? Couldn't get in the top 11. And not in the college football rankings, just in the AP poll, could not get in the top 11. 9 weeks in, undefeated. That's why I don't trust them. I just don't trust them.
Again, quit having sports writers vote on these things.
Yeah.
Just stop. They all have their biases, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're alma mater. Most of the people in my profession are from the print side are guys that at this point in their career, they want to go someplace like Penn State to cover a game, not Ames, not Manhattan, not Lubbock, none of that. They don't want anything to do with that. They just, what's in it for them? So they just rank based on these brands and blue bloods and what team they watched when they were 4 and still sucking their thumb because they're a sports writer now. I've got some problems with that. I've got problems with preseason rankings, period. You were mentioning a ranking that had the highest at 18. I think that was Kansas State. And the one that I just saw today was the highest Big 12 team at 18. I don't know. I cover Kansas State. I have no idea if they're 18. I have no idea if they're 12 or they're 30. Can we stop doing preseason rankings altogether? And if some guy on the internet wants to do it, fine, but not the coaches, not the AP. Nothing official should be done until halfway through the season.
Yep.
How many times can they rank a Florida State all the way up there because they're so knowledgeable in what a team's going to be, and then the season rolls around and they stink? Why did you even have them ranked?
Or Texas A&M.
Right.
Oh,
Again. Well, I thought they'd be good. It doesn't matter what you think, but it does matter because now it's skewed everything in the favor of all those teams that lined up and played Florida State or Texas A&M and beat them. They got credit for a big old honking win when in reality, they weren't playing that good of an opponent.
Correct.
Let's stop doing these rankings until we know who is really good. I'm an angry old man, Brien Hanley. I've turned into that guy.
I don't think you are. I think you're on to something. The problem is that it makes for good copy, either TV. Content, whatever you want to call it. It makes that, I mean, it's out there, so it's good for that. So that people enjoy, and people do enjoy rankings. I enjoy rankings, but I enjoy them when they make sense. I just don't enjoy, like, they always come out with the way too early one, right when a season's over. I usually look at that thing and I'm like, do you realize that we're in the transfer portal era? That you put out this ranking the day after either a college football or a college basketball, championship game. 70% of the rosters of the teams that you're ranking aren't even going to be there next year. So how the hell are you saying a way too early ranking when the guys aren't even going to be on this team? You don't even know. So it's different than what it was 5-10 years ago. So I admit, but and I used to enjoy it, but now I'm like, why are you even wasting your time? Because it doesn't make sense, because the rosters aren't even going to look the same. But having said all of that, look, I didn't want to have a big, long, drawn-out show or anything like that, Fitz. I just wanted to talk about these rankings because I thought it was important. Look, college football playoff doing something right. They did something right. They changed how the seedings go. It's going to be based on the rankings. I think that's important. I really do. Did it go all the way where we wanted it or probably needed it to go as a conference? No. But at least it did something. And something is better than nothing. Something is better than nothing. Now, and they did at least hold firm on the money aspect of it, because they could have screwed them out of the money aspect of it too. And I think you were right. That's what the holdup was. And they did a good job with that. But not getting that home game, that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow when you're a conference champion.
Agreed.
And they just rank you so low and seed you so low that you then have to turn and go on the road. They literally didn't do that in the NFL. The NFL, remember, it was up for debate yesterday, or it was going to be, and they didn't even vote on it because it didn't have enough. They didn't have enough votes to get it passed. Where division champions, they were going to seed everybody based on wins. They didn't do that. The NFL said, nah. The division champions are more important, and we're going to leave it that way, and they are going to get a home game. So I'm not saying college football has to be like the NFL, but maybe sometimes you can take your cues from an organization that appears to know what the hell they're doing based on how much revenue they've been able to generate over the last, 25 years.
Agreed.
You know, they have some things figured out there, Fitz. They got some things figured out.
Well, at the end of the day, we cover the Big 12, and whomever makes it into the playoff, be it 1 or 2, 3 teams, they got to win, man.
Yeah.
You might have to go on the road to do it, but you got to start winning games.
Yep.
That's the only way this conference is going to earn the respect it deserves. And you just have to look at some of these members. How did Utah end up in the Pac-12? How did TCU end up in the Big 12? They went on the road and beat good teams. They earned the respect. They earned on the field the belief that they belonged in a major conference, in a power conference. That's what the Big 12's now got to do as a power conference, is prove it is more competitive than what the national media, the committee, or certainly anyone associated with the Big Ten and SEC believes. Got to do it. Absolutely. These are all words. The games, it would have just been enormous for the Big 12 if Arizona State had beaten Texas. Because as far as I can tell right now, Texas is running the SEC, which makes no sense. They weren't running the Big 12 in every sport. Look, they were really good. But now they just move into the SEC and they're the boss. The differences aren't that vast between a majority of these conferences.
Nope.
They're not. And it's very frustrating to see the members of the national media just fall for it. Because in reality, they want to cover the big games at the big schools, the big stadiums, the big press boxes. They've made it about them instead of about the sport. And that's what a lot of people are doing now across all society. I don't care what's best for everyone. What's best for me? And that's really where we're at now with college football, in particular with the SEC and Big Ten.
Yeah, it's wild. Unfortunately, it's the wild, wild west.
Yep.
No, that's a thing that we probably use often, but it's the truth. It's just the wild, wild west out there. So, well, I appreciate everybody. Thank you guys again for tuning in. And like I said, didn't want to have a long, drawn-out show, but it just came out. We felt very compelled to kind of get some content out to you guys and talk about it from a Big 12 standpoint on the new rules and with the college football playoff. So appreciate everybody again. You guys have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.